I wanna be the very best that no one ever was. I'm your host Yusuf, and these are 10 dark Pokemon theories that will make you release them all. Make sure you subscribe and ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, gotta catch them all. Number 10, Cubones were being hunted by accident. From Redditor Sparrows Can't Sing, according to the Pokedex, we know that Marowak developed its fire ghost typing to resist predators. Or, Alolan Marowak developed in response to its natural predators in order to resist them. I've seen some speculation that predatory grass types made Marowak drop the ground in favor of fire. But what about the ghost type? Well, as we know, Ghost is immune to normal and fighting, which just so happens to be Beware's typing. Beware love to cuddle despite their own strength, so what if Alola's resident Care Bears were merely trying to cheer up the one Pokemon species that's in desperate need of a hug, Cubone? That's right, I think Beware drove Cubone to become ghost types by crushing the poor orphans with cuddles. I don't know who to be sadder for, Cubone or Beware. Number 9, Grimsley Is Sick. From Tumblr user Turna Princess, so apparently in the Sun and Moon design sheets or art book, it mentions that this is Grimsley 2 years after Black and White 2, and also confirms that Sun and Moon takes place 2 years after XY, since it happens at the same time as Black and White 2, where he is last seen. He looks so much older and sicker though, like he's actually in pain but still trying to look strong. It's so weird to see Pokemon go such a route with their characters. His skin is paler, his clothes are far more comfortable, he stopped wearing his eye makeup, and he seems to not be sleeping well at all. His expression has gone from that of a spry and cocky youth to that of a desperate lowlife. We can easily make the assumption that he is very sick, and the stress of whatever is hurting him and his search for a cure may be why we find him in Alola with gray hair. Number 8, Ditto is a failed clone of Mew. This theory states that Ditto was a failed attempt by scientists to try to make a clone of the mythical Pokemon Mew. It is stated in the theory that Ditto was made right before the infamous Mewtwo. There are several reasons that people think that this is plausible. Firstly, they are very similar in color. But not only that, they both have similar shiny forms as well, which is light blue. And they both weigh 8.8 pounds, exactly. Ditto is just a blob that looks like it could have been a failed experiment, but it just couldn't take the actual form of Mew. Therefore, it stays as its usual blobby self. Another piece of evidence is that both Mew and Ditto are the only Pokemon that learn the move Transform. Number 7, Ghetsis ended Hilda or Hilbert. Ghetsis ended Hilda or Hilbert during the 2.5-year time skip between Black and White and Black and White 2. Ghetsis' Hydreigon is at level 54 in Black and White, which is not possible for any Hydreigon as it evolves from Zweilous at level 64. The only other exception is Iris. Let's recap to Heart Gold and Soul Silver. What happened when Team Rocket forced a Pokemon, or rather shiny Magikarp, to evolve? It caused a rampage until the protagonists calmed it down. But if you look at any one of the Hydreigon evolution line's Pokedex entries, you will notice that it is an extremely aggressive predator. This is its entry from Black and White 2. It responds to movement by attacking. This scary three-headed Pokemon devours everything in its path. The theory states that Dino or Zweilous was abused by Ghetsis ever since he was caught, thus developing a kind of fear of him, and was forced to evolve using the same method Team Rocket used. Since Colress was a member of Team Plasma, it is highly probable. But upon evolving into Hydreigon, it went into a rage and attacked Ghetsis, slashing his eye and dealing permanent damage to his right arm. Number 6, Leon is evil. From Tumblr user Jadazora, the more I play with the idea Leon is secretly evil, the more it's making sense and gives us some really good story possibilities. The fact they play up that everyone in Galar absolutely loves this dude because of his undefeated winning streak and his shiny personality kind of brings to mind what we saw with how Ether and Skull were portrayed in the Sun and Moon news cycle, and how they kept laying it on extremely thick that Skull were totally our real villains, which most of us called Ether, the supposed innocent conservationists, right off. His undefeated streak might make him wary of the player racking up a similar winning streak. He might also get booted off his throne sometime in the story, even heard a few guesses that it's before the story even begins, by someone else. That said, it's just a theory. It could just simply be that, like Cynthia and Alder, he has a mentor role with the protagonist in Hop and increased story prominence compared to other champions we've seen before. Number 5, 5. The legendary Pokemon created the professors. From Amino Apps user Pokemon Stranger, an example of a main character or player character in game is Red. The question is, did you really play as him, or did you play as yourself as a soul in the Pokemon universe? What if I told you that there was a legendary Pokemon out there that could do the move Heart Swap with the Manaphy movie effect in game? If you haven't seen Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea, what I'm referring to is how the characters switch souls and voices in the movie by using the move Heart Swap. The reason why I'm telling you this is how you, the player, gets tossed into the game into a particular setting. Sometimes you are introduced to the Pokemon professor in a questionable room, but what if what you're seeing then and there was an illusion made by a Pokemon that's asking you which body do you want to take over next? Number 4, N is a Zoroark. N is one of the more interesting characters to have been introduced in Pokemon Black and White, largely due to the strong connection that he shares with both trainers and Pokemon. If a popular fan theory is to be believed though, there's far more to the mysterious character than first meets the eye. Many believe that N is not actually human, but instead the Pokemon Zoroark in disguise, and there's a surprising amount of evidence to support this idea. As well as him looking a little like the Pokemon, there are also several instances in the game where players encounter a Zoroark shortly before or after meeting N. There's even a point where interacting with Zoroark triggers a flashback in N, which at the very least suggests that there's a very strong bond between them. Plus, what character's name is just a letter? Number 3, Misty passed away. Though this one may seem a little far-fetched at first, there's actually some empirical evidence to suggest that Misty is in fact not living anymore. In episode 24 of the anime, Misty is licked by Sabrina's Haunter. The thing is though, numerous Pokedex entries for the Pokemon suggest that a lick from Haunter is actually fatal. As such, it stands to reason that Misty would have passed away soon after that fateful lick. Her continued inclusion in the anime would obviously suggest otherwise, but some fans of the show have speculated that this is just a symptom of Ash's grief. As far as they're concerned, all of Misty's battles from episode 25 of the anime onward were actually fought by Ash, who, stricken with grief for his lost friend, is attempting to keep her memory alive and her heartbroken Pokemon active. Number 2, the truth behind Parasect. One of the things that makes the post-apocalyptic future depicted in Naughty Dog's The Last of Us games so frightening is that the cordyceps fungus that causes the mass outbreak is very much a real thing. Thankfully for humanity, the fungus is only able to take control of certain types of insects, at least that's the case with the 600 or so different species of cordyceps that have been discovered so far to date. Unfortunately for the world of Pokemon, however, it seems that some of these species are capable of infecting certain bug-type Pokemon, most notably Parasect. Most of the Pokemon's Pokedex entries confirms that it's being controlled by the parasitic fungus on its back. What's not clear though, and what some fans believe may be the case, is whether Parasect is capable of infecting other bug-type Pokemon with its spores, just as the cordyceps fungus does. Number 1, Giovanni is Ash's dad. Given his status as the big bad of the anime, the idea of Giovanni being Ash's real father is quite a shocking one, no doubt. It would, however, explain why Giovanni's Team Rocket lackeys, Jesse and James, always seem to be in the same region as the young protagonist, despite the vastness of the Pokemon world. Some believe that Giovanni is actually keeping tabs on his young son by sending his most harmless yet most persistent grunts to keep an eye on him. This would explain why Team Rocket treats Pikachu so well whenever they do catch him, and why in more than 2 decades, they've never come close to physically hurting Ash despite the group's reputation for inflicting harm on both people and Pokemon. Thanks for watching. Those were 10 dark Pokemon theories that will make you release them all. Leave a like and comment if you think we missed anything, and we hope you have a scary day.